Hello friends, and from this video tutorial we have started learning one new topics in Codeigniter. In this topics we will discuss how could we make CRUD system by using Ajax with Codeigniter Framework. In this system we will use DataTables query plugin for displayed data in tabular format, and we will also use Bootstrap modules for inserting and updating data. Here we will implement DataTables server-side processing by using Ajax. This is the first part in which we will fetch data from MySQL table by using Ajax in Codeigniter application, and then after we will displaying that data on web page by using DataTables query plugin with server-side processing. In server-side processing we have to write query for search, order and pagination at server-side. This all things we will learn in this part. This is my CRUD database, and in this database we have one user's table with table column like id, first name, last name and image. In this table we have already inserted some data into this table. We will fetch this data by using Ajax in Codeigniter Framework and display data by using DataTables plugin. This my Codeigniter application folder, and in this working folder we have set base URL of this application in config folder config.php file, and this is my base URL. We will use this base URL for load my application. For database connection, we have make database connection from this database.php file. In this file we have defined some variable like host name, username, password and database variable value. For making CRUD application with Ajax we have make three file in controllers, models and views. In controllers we have make one CRUD controller, in models we have make one CRUD model.php file, and in views folder we have make CRUD view.php file. Now we want to load CRUD view file from CRUD controllers, so we have go to CRUD controllers, and under this file first we have make function index. When we have load this CRUD controller in browser, then this function will be called first. Under this function we have write $data title variable is equal to Codeigniter Ajax CRUD with DataTables and Bootstrap modules. We have store this text under this variable. Then after we have write $this with loader class object load with view method, and under this method we have define which file you want to load. So here we have write CRUD view file, and in second argument we have define which data you want to send while this file will load. So in this argument we have write $data variable. So this $array of data variable will be load with this CRUD view file. Now we have go to CRUDview.php page. On this page here we have write echo $title variable. This will print which we have defined under CRUD controller $data title variable. That text will be print on this page. This is view page of our CRUD application, so we want to use jQuery DataTables plugin and Bootstrap module on this page, so for this we have add this link on this page. First link is for load jQuery JavaScript library on this page, second link is used for load Bootstrap style sheet on this page, third link is for load DataTables jQuery plugin library on this page, fourth is for load DataTables with Bootstrap jQuery library on this page, and last link is for load DataTables with Bootstrap style sheet on this page. This all link will load different jQuery and style sheet library on this page. On this page first we have defined table with id is equal to user data. Under this table we will use for DataTables, and on this table we will load table data which we have fetch. Under this table we have define open and close table head tag, and under this tag we have define open and close table row tag. In this tag we have defined 5 table heading tag for displaying image, first name, last name, edit and delete. This way we have defined table with column. Now we have moved to write query code, and under query code we want to set user table with data table method. So under this we have defined one variable data table is equal to $, with selector like user data, which is an id of table with data table method. This code will initialize the data table with this table with id user data. Under this data table method, we have defined processing option set to true. This is feature control, the processing indicator. Then after we have defined second option server-side set to true, this option will enable data tables in server-side processing mode. After this we have defined order option with blank array value. This will initial remove table order from table. Normally in data table column order has been enabled in all table column, but here we have initially removed table column order. Now we want to load data from table by using Ajax and data tables, so we have defined Ajax option, and under this we have first defined URL, and in this option we have write open and close PHP tag, and between this tag we have write base URL function with CRUD controller name /fetch user function. This way we have defined data source for fetching data by using Ajax and data tables. Then after under Ajax we have defined other option like type set to post. Here we have defined method set to post method. Then after in data tables option we have defined one more column definition option. From this option we can set column definition initialization properties. Under this we have defined target sub option with column number like 0, 3 and 4 in array. By this option target this table column for order, and under this we have write other sub option orderable set to false. That means we have not set table column order under this targets table column like 0, 3 and 4. From this column we have removed table column order. This way we have defined data tables definition for user data table. Now we have moved to CRUD controller, and on this we have write function like fetch user. This function we have defined under data table Ajax request. Under this function first we have write $this loader class object load with model method. This method will load model which we have defined under this method. Under this method we have defined CRUD model. So this we can use all method of CRUD model under this function. Now we have go to CRUD model, and on this method we have defined $table variable is equal to users which name of table from which we want to fetch data. Then after we have write $select column variable is equal to array, and under this we write table column like id, first name, last name and image. We will value of this variable for making query. After this we have write $order column variable is equal to array, and under this array we have write null, first name, last name, null and null. In this variable we have write null value at 0, 3 and 4 index. This is because we want to remove table column order from this column. Now in this model we have write one function with name make query function. In this function we will make with different condition like searching, ordering and pagination. Under this function we will make query with this condition. Under this function we have write $this with database class object db with select method, and under this method we have write $this with select column variable which we have already defined above. This code with generate code like select id, first name, last name and image. Then after we have write $this with database class object db with from method. Under this method we have write $this with table variable which we have already defined, and this code will produce query like from users table. After this we have write if statement with condition like set function with $post search value variable. This condition will return true if data table sent post data for searching. Then it will execute if block of code. Suppose data table sent post request for search. Then under this function we have write $this with database class object db with like method we have write two argument. In first argument we have write first name table column name, and in second argument we have write $post search variable which we have received from data table. This code will generate query like where first name like $, post search variable %. Then after we have write $this with database class object db with or like method, and under this method we have defined two argument. In first argument we have write last name table column name, and in second argument we have write $post search value variable. This will produce query or like $, post search value variable %. After this we have write if statement with condition like set function, and under this function we have write $post order variable. This condition will return true if data table sent post request for table column order processing. Suppose it received data table post request for order processing, then it will execute if block of code, and under this block we have write $this with database class object db with order by method, and under this method we have write $this with order column variable, and under this we have write $post order 0 column variable, and in second argument we have write $post order 0 directory variable. This both $post order variable we will receive from data table post request for order, and it will produce query for order data according to data table post order request. But suppose data tables not send post order request, then it will produce else block of code, and under this block we have write $this with database class object db with order by method, and under this method we have defined two argument. In first argument we have write it if users table column, and in second argument we have write descending order. So this code will produce query like order by id in descending order. So this way we can generate query for different condition. This type of query will generate under this function. Now we have defined one more function with name like make data tables function. Under this function we will execute query which we have make under make query function. Under this function first we have write $this make query function. This function will get query which we have already generate under make query function. Then after under this function we have write if statement with condition like $post length variable not equal to -1. This condition will check if value of this $post length variable value not equal to -1, then it will execute if block of code. Under this block we have write $this with database class object db with limit method. Under this method we have defined two argument like length and start. So in first argument we have write $length variable, and in second argument we have write $post start argument. This both argument we will receive from data table request. Then after we have write $query variable is equal to $this with database class object db with get method. This will make query for fetching data from users table and stored under this $query variable. Lastly, under this function we have write return statement with $query variable with result method. This will execute query and return result of query execution. So from this function we can get the result of fetching data query. Then after we have defined one more function with name getFilteredData function. This function will return total number of filtered record after searching in your table. Under this function first we have called makeQuery function by writing code like $this makeQuery function. This function will call makeQuery function. Then after we have write $query variable is equal to $this with database class object db with get method. This will execute query and store into this $query variable. After this we have write return statement with $query with numRows function. This function will return number of records in your query result. Then after we have defined one more function getAllData function. This function will return number of all records from users table. Under this function we have write $this with database class object db with select method. Under this method we have write star, that means we have select all table column. Then after we have write $this with database class object db with from method. Under this method we have to define table name which we have store under table variable. So here we have write $this table variable. And lastly, under this function we have write return statement with $this with database class object db with count all results. This will return number of records from this user's table. So we have make all required function for load data and data tables by using Ajax and CRUD models. Now we have moved to CRUD controllers, and here we have write $fetch data variable is equal to $this with CRUD model with make data tables function. This function will fetch data with condition like searching not searching, ordering not ordering condition and store result under this $fetch data variable. Then after we have defined one $data variable is equal to array. In this variable we will store fetch data in array format. Now we have write for each loop, and under this we have write $fetch data variable as $row variable. By using we can fetch data variable result by using this $row variable one by one. Under this loop first we have defined one more $subarray variable in array format. Under this variable we will store subdata, and then after this variable data store under main $data variable. First we want to store image under $subarray variable, so we have write $subarray variable is equal to image tag with source is equal to base URL function with upload folder name / $row image. Here we have store image name. Then after we have write $subarray variable is equal to $row first name object. Here we have store first name underscore array variable. After this we have write $subarray variable is equal to $row last name object. Here we have store last name underscore array variable. Then after we have write $subarray variable is equal to button type is equal to button with attribute name is equal to updated is equal to $row it object, and in button text we have write update. Here we have generate update button, and in this button we have generate unique id by using user's id. After this we have again write $subarray variable is equal to button type is equal to button with attribute name is equal to delete, id is equal to $row it object, and in button text we have write delete. Here we have generate delete button for all user, and in this button we have create dynamic id attribute by putting user's id. Lastly, and for each loop we have write $data variable is equal to $subarray variable. Here we have store all data of subarray variable into $data variable. Then after we have write $output associative array variable, in first key of this array we have write draw with value like $post draw variable. Here we have sent same number which has been sent by data table at the time of draw or request. After this in second key we have write record dot with value like $this with CRUD model with get all data function. This function will return total numbers of records in your table. Then after in third key we have write records filtered with value like $this with CRUD model with get filtered data function. This function will return total numbers of filtered records after searching in your table. If you have not performed any search, then records filtered will be same as records total. And last key we have write data with value $data which we have stored under $data variable. This is your fetched records from users table. Now our output array is ready in associative array format. But in data table we want data in JSON format. So we have write echo statement with function like JSON encode function with argument like $output variable. This function will convert associative array to JSON string and send back to data tables, and it will display data on web page. So friends, our code is ready for select or fetch data from database and display that data in data tables by using Ajax server-side processing and Codeigniter application. So we have saved all this code and check output in browser. Friends, you can see that user data and data tables with table column like image, first name, last name, update and delete button. We have fetched this data by using Ajax server-side processing. Here we can perform operation like searching. When we have write any word in search text box, then it send Ajax request to server. We can also see that here only two table column has order feature. This is because we have set while we have load data tables on user data table. This order processing also done by Ajax request, and pagination is also done by Ajax request. So we have seen that how to done server-side processing in data tables in Codeigniter Framework by using Ajax request. We have make simple query for all different condition like searching, ordering or even pagination, and this query has been called by Ajax in Codeigniter Framework. So we can smoothly search table, can see data in different order or pagination, which has been handled by Ajax server-side processing in data tables. We can perform different operation in data table by using Ajax in Codeigniter application. So if like this video, please share this video with your friends, or even you can also share this video on social media also. Friends, if you want to get more update of my video tutorial, so you can subscribe my YouTube channel. Friends, you can also like my Facebook page, or you can also follow Webs Listen on Twitter.